Zoran Mamdani's win, I think it's important, chat, that we stay locked in on the most important political debates of the day. Make sure that we are participating in the political process. And that's why we're hard tuning in to the 2025 Virginia Lieutenant Governor's race that just concluded, I believe, right? Or is this the midterms? I want you to see this is a real video. This is a real video of John Reed for Lieutenant Governor of Virginia debating the Democrat, but this is on his own YouTube channel. They say the Republican nominee, John Reed, a career broadcaster and business professional, against Democrat nominee State Senator Ghazala Hashmi. And so, look, this is just text. Eager to address key issues in front of voters, Reed challenged his opponents to a series of regional debates around the Commonwealth of Virginia. Hashmi rejected the challenge. Not to be deterred, Reed signaled to his opponent that he would agree to debate her in a format of her choosing. Anytime, anywhere was the basic offer. Hashmi still refused. Of the 6 statewide candidates for elected office in Virginia this year, only one has outright declined to participate in a debate against an opponent, Ghazala Hashmi. In lieu of a formal debate, what you are about to see is the best possible alternative, whereby John Reed will react/respond to Senator Hashmi's publicized policy positions as mined from a variety of available sources, with AI to use to replicate Senator Hashmi's voice. Now, without further ado. Okay, so we got Republicans out here with brainworms debating AIs. She won, by the way. First Muslim woman to win statewide office in Virginia. A real smash job, if you ask me. A real smasher. 55% of the vote. Not real close. Imagine getting cooked by an AI you yourself generated in a situation you completely control. Listen, liberal, gets bodied by computer program. How do you control everything the moderator and your opponent says and still lose? So, without further ado, is definitely a great way to start this. Welcome to the 2025 Virginia Lieutenant Governor virtual debate. Cool. You edited
Good
this?
evening, and thanks for joining us on this unique occasion.
Unique is definitely a way to put it. I would also call this unique. This is worse than the AI I thought I was going to see. I thought I was going to see something beyond a PNG, but no.
Exchange of ideas between the two candidates running to be the next Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. First, the Republican candidate, Mr. John Reed. Welcome, Mr. Reed.
What? Great. You don't look fucking crazy at all.
Next, the Democrat.
Dude, and the audio is so fucking funny. Why wouldn't you? Okay, you have to, this is just, he edited this himself. You have to keep a consistent audio background in the back. You should have taken the original audio from this footage, maybe? Right here. You should have taken this audio, taken it into an audio program, killed some of the noise because it's so crackly and like the air is on or something, and then you should have just made that like the standing background noise or something else. Like you could have done anything. And then you'll have continuity between the cuts.
Ghazala Hashmi. Senator Hashmi, are you there? The Democrat candidate, State Senator Ghazala Hashmi.
Okay.
Senator Hashmi, are you there?
Are you there? Holy shit, she materialized.
Good to be here. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Wow, you wrote the script.
Okay.
Great.
First, let's get to opening statements, starting with Senator Hashmi.
I'm ready.
The fucking microphone.
Running to be Virginia's next lieutenant governor because voters need someone who has the experience, knowledge, and ability to fight for Virginians, especially given the chaos coming out of Washington. I have a track record with regard to the issues that Virginia...
I'm going to speed this up. I think we could definitely handle it. What do you say about a 175?
Care about education, healthcare, housing, and opportunity. I am ready
Easy.
to make policy that will make Virginia an example for other states.
Mr. Reed, your response?
Well, it's too bad that Senator Hashmi won't appear for a real debate. If she's not willing to engage in her own campaign for lieutenant governor, I don't know why anybody thinks that she'd be able to fight for anything in Washington, D.C. And indeed, the things that she has fought for in the state Senate are the things that most Virginians don't like keeping the schools closed for an extra year, like pushing for boys and girls sports, advocating for men.
Boys and girls sports?
In women's private spaces, higher taxes, releasing criminals early, everything that we would identify as a problem in the state of Virginia, Ghazala Hashmi has pushed. Now, you compare that to me. I'm someone who has worked at the highest levels of the federal government as communications director in the U.S. Senate, as communications director at the United States Chamber of Commerce, working with business people all around the world and in the United States, from the Fortune 500 companies to the smallest mom-and-pop startups. I know what these businesses need to try to grow their business and increase jobs, and that will be one of my key priorities. Not just gaveling in the Senate, not just working on legislation with senators, but advocating for the state of Virginia. And with the chaos.
Who was that, like, not bread tuber, but like borderline tanky tuber that, like, nobody watches anymore? Oh, man. Gray hair, looks very similar to this. Maybe a little thinner. Oh, man. Peter Coffin, thank you. Getting Peter Coffin vibes. Very many Peter Coffin vibes. Holy shit. I thought the coffin was dead and buried. Is Peter Coffin still active? Still making cringe on the internet? Kinda.
Us at Ghazala Hashmi references in Washington, D.C., and the fact that we're $37 trillion in debt, you need someone like me at the state capitol in Richmond who will try to bring additional jobs to Virginia rather than burden businesses and folks who are trying to grow the economy.
Our first topical question tonight is about the economy. Virginia currently is one of the top 5 states for business, according to CNBC's annual economic report. However, with recent cuts to federal jobs, which have affected millions of Virginians, analysts worry about Virginia's economic stability going forward. What would you do to help bolster Virginia's economy as lieutenant governor? Senator Hashmi?
I want to make sure that
Wow, the wide shot is fucking crazy. That is a startling thing to look at. That's tremendous. I didn't realize that he actually set that up too. Has Tim Heidecker seen this? I think Tim should see this. And I think if he sees this because of me, he should invite me on the show. But I mean, you don't have to. It'd be a good time though. This looks like something Tim would make. I think he's beaten. Has Tim ever done this? I think he's beat you to the punch. Take that. All right, let's hear the policy of the AI. Do you think? Okay, so everyone's saying he gets cooked by this. Is it literally just her policy, and he can't argue against it, even though it's just he controls literally everything?
I want to make sure that Virginia is prepared for the future as the economy, technology, and the workforce evolve. We need to expand access to quality childcare and make it affordable. Government should ensure that families have home health care and elder care.
Yes.
We also need to mandate that workers receive compensation at an acceptable level.
Yeah.
I believe that a living wage is a fundamental right for workers and their families. Accordingly, we need to institute living wage here in Virginia.
Based!
Mr. Reed, your response?
Well, how can you tell me that you know nothing about the economy and business without actually admitting you know nothing about economics and business? Senator Hashmi just did that. Talking about a living wage sounds good, but it doesn't
He's taking it dead serious is so fucking funny.
accomplish anything except the loss of jobs. Mandating that businesses provide child health care.
Not for the reasons he thought, though. Like, he thinks I'm gonna fucking dunk on this, and he's just not. That all sounds so reasonable.
Child care and health care does nothing for the actual workers except cost them their jobs. The solution here
Giving them child care and health care costs them their jobs? How?
is to create non-government programs that enable and empower businesses and the individual employee, not create additional government regulations that make it harder for citizens to work. And I point out that I'm the only candidate who every week has unveiled policy positions, including on child health care, providing opportunities, tax credits for people who need them. It's called the Reed Revolution. I hope you'll go online and take a look at the proposals that I've issued. I think you will find them to be reasonable and responsible. They won't break the bank. And most importantly, they will inspire business people to come to Virginia and grow their economies, grow their businesses, and increase jobs rather than mandate programs that will crush job opportunities in the Commonwealth.
The state, the government, both the federal and individual states are the largest employers in the world, like collectively. Like America hires more people than any other business, I think. Unless you count like soldiers, in which case it's probably China. Actually, they might win now. But like in the West, maybe not in the world.
One matter specifically that could affect Virginia's competitiveness in the market is what is commonly referred to as right to work. By this policy, workers do not have to join a union or organized labor group for the sake of employment. At present, Virginia is a right to work state. Would you be in favor of repealing right to work, yes or no?
Yes!
Senator Hashmi?
We support all efforts to repeal right to work. States that don't have right
she's
to work
based.
laws generally offer better working conditions
Based.
and outcomes for employees. In Virginia, right to work restrictions affect wages, benefits, and overall job quality.
Yeah.
Many workers and most of the general public don't understand how labor laws are central to better economic outcomes. As Lieutenant Governor, I will always push for legislative changes for workers' rights.
Yes. Source, Hashmi interview with the Wavy. I mean, based as fuck.
Mr. Reed.
Senator Hashmi says that the general public doesn't understand labor law. It's clear that she doesn't understand economics. When she's advocating doing away with the right to work, she is advocating crushing the working class in Virginia. How do I
Oh my God. No, Michigan got rid of it. Wages went way up. Quality of life is rising. So good.
know this? Her own party used to agree. Chuck Robb, Jerry Beliles, Doug Wilder, even Mark Warner and Tim Kaine, all Democrat governors, advocated for the right to work.
In the past? Oh, well, it's bad. It's bad. I disagree with them. What a terrible argument.
Which means that the worker decides whether they join a union or not. It means that the worker decides whether money is taken out of their paycheck and siphoned off to the labor union, which, by the way, then goes to some nefarious political activities that many people wouldn't agree with. I stand with the working people of Virginia. I want the person who goes to work every day to make that decision for themselves. That's important for the working people. It's important for businesses.
That's not what right to work does. Right to work means that the employer can just fucking fire you without and deny you the ability to join a union. No, we should have collective bargaining. Frankly, if you work any job anywhere, you should have profit share. 1,000,000% profit share. Not income, profit. Still make ends meet. Like, I'm fine if there's some kind of like cut of the pie that everyone gets, but I mean, we should look at what 100% of it is, where all the value comes from. Obviously, the labor force is the bulk of it. I don't mind if management and everybody like gets a cut as well. It makes sense, but I don't think it should outstrip the bulk of what. Like, I think the workers should have at minimum 60% of the profit, minimum. And I don't mean owners, because I mean everyone is collectively owning. But I mean, like, it just depends on what the business would be, where I would say, like, I mean, maybe you could even argue 90. Probably 90 is where you should start, because they make all the profitability.
We're bringing businesses to Virginia. The reason they're coming is not just that we have a beautiful beachfront and we have the mountains. It's because they can do business here without being dictated to by a labor boss from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. So what if none of the states allow? I mean, they're just not going to go to Virginia when people have better rights. I just don't buy that shit. It just never really happens, like the capitalists say. There will be some people that try to skirt around it and go to the place where they have a different law that helps their specific business. But if you need to be in Virginia for your business, you need to be in Virginia for your business. It just is what it is.
And Senator Hashmi is advocating changing that law to a point where no one will want to come to Virginia. And we will lose businesses to Tennessee, which, by the way, doesn't have an income tax. So we're giving up the number one reason that businesses come to Virginia, the northernmost state with the right to work. And it is a reckless and irresponsible decision. I suspect that Senator Hashmi actually knows that. And her friends at the labor unions will reward her for this position that she's taking. I will always stand with the working people of Virginia.
Another economic matter is minimum wage. Right now, Virginia employers must pay employees no less than $12.41 per hour. Are you for increasing the minimum wage? Why or why not? And if so, to what?
20
Senator Hashmi?
minimum.
I support raising the minimum wage to at least $15 and establishing an alignment of wages with inflation and cost of living. I have championed efforts to increase the minimum wage and supported legislation to eliminate minimum wage exemptions.
15 is too low in my opinion now. It was 15 fucking 10 years ago. Like, I mean, right now it's like fucking 30, but I think like $20 an hour minimum would start to be worth people's time. Like, literally think, if I can't make $20 in an hour of like back-breaking work, which is, I mean, definitely I've never made $20 an hour during back-breaking work. That would be a dream. I've literally all the hardest physically jobs of my lives well under $20 an hour, unless you're working for the city, which I've never done, or state or something. 15 won't pay rent. No, of course not. 20 probably doesn't pay rent. Okay, so we could do math. I think, what was that, $1,600 a month roughly if you're working full time? That's much more livable than some shit, but still, I mean, that's $20,000. Still need benefits for everything, especially if you have any sort of dependent, like a cat even. To earn a living wage, you need to make at least $32 an hour. Yeah. You wouldn't have to if we didn't charge for rent. Consider fucking the landlords for a little bit, corporations, and you can keep your heads for a minute.
When workers receive a living wage, those dollars go back into the community, supporting small businesses and entrepreneurs.
True. Anyway, we should have the bulk of all the money that should ever be. America's GDP is produced by its labor. The laborers who should have the most amount of money. Like, we should have more bargaining power than our government. Frankly, collectively, we should have more bargaining power than our government. They should have 49% of our wealth at most.
Mr. Reed,
Well, at least Senator Hashmi recognizes that money that's paid to workers does fuel the economy. But what she would actually be doing by raising the minimum wage to $15, and many in her party are saying $20 or $25 an hour, is kill jobs. Once again, we're dealing with people, Senator Hashmi, with all due respect, who have no clue about how a business works and no understanding of economics. This sounds like a very good idea if you're economically illiterate. Raising the minimum wage would cost low-income workers their positions.
Every time Republicans say this, they're just wrong. Like, it's just not how it works. The need for labor still exists. And if you don't have consumers to buy your shit, it doesn't matter. These minimum wage jobs that you're talking about are all like service jobs that need labor. All of them. That's why we need to bargain for it. And the reason he doesn't want it is because, he knows that eventually that drives everybody else's wage up, because they're like, well, I can go fucking make $20 an hour at McDonald's, so why do I have to work here with this stress and do this job? Which is good, because as you rise the bottom up, there's going to be more money being able to spread out, and then more people, you immediately start to see more of it. This is another way of profit sharing, by the way, driving just the minimum wage up. I mean, they can't not hire you. Beyond this, though, this is a half measure. Of course, minimum wage is not like the thing we need to do. It's just one of the things we need to do to offset this. But it would be an overnight, well, 2 weeks from the time you install it, it would be good. Usually the problem with these, though, is that they're incremental, which is, it's not a problem. You kind of need to do that. You can't overnight make like a restaurant adjust their books to, a major hike, because that would hurt people. But like every year, essentially, they get a raise. That's how it goes. So if you install a 15 right now, it's not enough. You need to install a fucking 30 and have it take place over the next fucking, 5 years or something.
The young man who pops the popcorn at the movie theater would lose that job. The popcorn would then be imported to the movie theater. There would be no position for this individual. So this is another really...
The popcorn would be imported? No one wants fucking pre-bagged popcorn at the theater. It's one of the only reasons you go.
foolish idea that has the potential to...
I think you're just like, the theaters will go out of business, then fucking have a better fucking quality of experience. What I want from a theater is good quality visuals on a bigger screen than I have at home, with better sound, chairs that are comfortable, and I want to be able to preferably hang out with my pals in like a third space and also hang out there, but we don't have anything like that here. I did used to experience some of this stuff in other cities I've been in. There's been some like, bars nearby and like a big plaza, usually in a big mall or something. But like if you can get drinks and stuff, very good. We have some of those a bit of a drive away, but importing popcorn would raise the cost of it by at least 500%. Yeah, he has no idea what the fuck it takes to make popcorn.
Crush those who are just beginning in the workforce or trying to move their way up the ladder and try to work to a better wage. And I'm so distressed that Senator Hashmi continues to propose ideas that have been tried in other places that have cost thousands of people their jobs, including in
He's just wrong.
California, where one of the basic...
The jobs numbers under the Republicans are obviously worse across the board every time. Because, right, it's happening now, right, under Republican leadership. And it's like, I think this guy, he seems like one of those people that actually believes the dumb shit he's saying, but I don't know. Maybe he's like just nefarious, money-grubbing mustache twiddler. He seems like one of these guys who's like, I went to school for capitalism piety, and I'm the most pious capitalist, so as you can see.
Jobs, no offense to anyone who works in fast food. Now, all of those positions in California have been replaced by computer terminals. That may be...
That is just not true. They still have fucking labor. They still do. The thing you're seeing is, okay, moving beyond the conversation of minimum wage, which it should be as high as it can be. What he's describing is that people there is becoming a less of a demand for human labor as we outsource it to technology, which is true and a symptom of, like, there is nothing natural about having a job. They claim it to be a virtue because they want underlings, but there's no reason to have a job other than to need stuff done, right? Like, the value of it comes from its necessity, and it like, this is a purely communist idea if you talk about it like this. Like, to each according to their need. Whoa! He thinks that's like, you only get what you need. No, we just make sure you do have what you need, and then whatever you want, go try to get it. That's fine. You might even get what you want in a lot of those situations, because what you want is like a house. I mean, you need it, but it's not a virtue to work. It's just a fucking fact of life, and humans do not have to toil the way we have in the past. It's irresponsible and stupid to imply that every single human needs a job. I just don't think that's true. I don't think most people need a job for anything other than surviving capitalism. Think of all the jobs we have under capitalism that are just pointless. All the fucking like sweatshops and like t-shirt factories pumping out garbage just ends up in landfills. All the shit we never need. Just waste. Millions of people who never have to work. We only need able-bodied people to work, and they should be incentivized to do so, or people that desire to work, and they should be incentivized to do so. That's it. If we need shit done, we should have people that do that shit, and they should be compensated. Like, people that do the trash and the sewage should be like, you know, the guys in the fucking, you know, that have the big boat or whatever and get time off with their families for doing the shitty job. Not the fucking CEO of, you know, Walmart or whatever the fuck who does nothing. It's just so ridiculous. 99% of security jobs. Oh, because it's like a fear of being stolen from. I talk about this a lot, but like when you really think about it, like the systems that we are enslaved to, it's just us. We could just all be on paradise together. We're already here. We're like literally already here. The Garden of Eden, bro, it's way better than that. We have the Gardens of Edens. Pick an Eden. We have millions. Millions of different Edens for those with the eyes to see it.
Coming anyway, but there's no reason for us to push for that to happen sooner and faster. Let's give workers an opportunity to start with an entry-level job and continue to grow their way in the business economy of Virginia. Senator Hashmi clearly doesn't understand it. Once again, I will stand up for the working people and the working families of Virginia.
In 2021, the Democrat-led Virginia General Assembly and then Democrat Governor Ralph Northam decreed that Virginia would follow the California-based electric vehicle mandate, whereby all vehicles sold in Virginia must be zero emission by 2035. Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin and Republican Attorney General Jason Miyares canceled this decree last year.
Trash.
If you become Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, would you be in favor of reinstating the EV mandate, yes or no, and why or why not?
Yes.
Senator Hashmi?
Yes.
Wholeheartedly support an electric vehicle mandate. The effects of human-caused climate change are happening, and Virginia must address the climate catastrophes that face us. Reducing carbon emissions and transitioning to renewable energy sources are imperative for the sake of environmental justice.
Mr. Reed, your response?
I don't think anybody even understands what environmental justice is, and I do.
Wow. The argument is I don't understand what that is, and I don't think anybody does. So everybody that does understand the term environmental justice just like makes a face at you like you're an idiot.
I do think Virginians understand government mandates. No one in the state wants the state government dictating what type of vehicle they can drive. No.
The mandates for the 2035 thing, or for any EV mandate, is not that like consumers must have an EV. It's that we must be compatible with EVs and be only producing EVs and then transition out of fuel-based stuff. Still accommodating for it because it's obviously we can't just divorce ourselves from it. We can't just turn it off. Like, so someone in Virginia can't drive to fucking New Jersey. Like, it's not going to happen. But we need to make sure that we're compatible with it as we phase out of like gasoline cars because we don't need them. We just don't need them at the rate we have them. It's going to be a long time before we're ever done with them. It'd be nice.
One in this state needs Ghazala Hashmi or a Democrat governor telling them how to live their lives. There's no one in this state who appreciates the environment more than I do. Some
I appreciate the environment more than anyone.
Folks laugh when I talk about how I'm an Eagle Scout and I've spent more time out camping in Virginia than most people unless they're in the Marine Corps. I appreciate the environment of Virginia, but I've also traveled around the world, and I know that the position that the Democrats in Virginia, that Senator Hashmi would put us in, would not make us more competitive as a state. It would not protect and preserve the environment of Virginia. It would send us into decline economically. And those who are in decline economically cannot keep up with the transition that's necessary to keep our air and water clean and protect the environment of Virginia.
If we do, like, listen to yourself. If we do things to keep the air and water clean, we can't. Listen to yourself. It's just so self-defeating.
These are very poor decisions that Virginians have rejected time and time again when they've been asked. And Senator Hashmi is on the
No, it literally wasn't rejected. It literally was not rejected. Glenn Youngkin fucking rejected it himself.
Alongside of dictating to the average person in Virginia what they must do in their own home, in their own life. I'll stand up for your personal freedom.
Our next topic is school.
Oh, yeah. He's debating an AI that he made himself. Yeah. This is, well, he didn't make the AI. He typed it into fucking maybe Chat GPT or something. I don't even know what he used.
Differ on the role that expanded school choice should play in Virginia education. Quite simply, are you in favor of expanding school choice for families? Why or why not? Senator Hashmi.
I am for fully funding Virginia's public schools.
True.
Private school vouchers and tax breaks take money away from our public school system.
Facts.
School choice unevenly benefits wealthier families, which can
Facts.
afford the remaining private tuition costs.
Yep.
Meanwhile, less affluent families in public schools are left with fewer resources, thereby increasing educational disparity. I am committed to protecting public education for all Virginia schools.
God, she's so good. These are all just... So it sounds like he just typed in either his own interpretation of her words, actual quotes, or had ChatGPT or something similar summarize her position based on this kind of thing. I don't know how he did it. But whatever his process, the AI voice thing is so weird.
Mr. Reed, your thoughts?
Well, I'm a public school person. My father was a middle school principal. My mother was a public school teacher. I went to Henrico County Public Schools from kindergarten through 8th grade. I then went to a private school, which was very expensive. I know about these very expensive tuitions. That's why I think it is time for us to tell the truth to each other and admit that there are some wonderful schools in Virginia and there's some schools that just aren't cutting it. And I think it is wrong, Senator Hashmi, to mandate that someone who is in a neighborhood where a school system is failing or an individual school is failing, for them not to be able to remove their child and give them another opportunity with the tax money that has been allocated for that child.
You can go to a different school. You can go to any public school you can get your kid to. I guarantee you they'll take the kid. You have to have your parent go to admissions and be like, hey, my kid wants to go here. And they're going to be like, okay, how are you going to get the kid here? And they're going to be like, well, I'm going to drive the kid. And they're going to be like, okay, does your schedule accommodate for that? And they're going to be like, yeah, okay, it does. And because they're not, like, they don't have a bus route probably where you're at if you're going to a different fucking public school, but they might. Maybe you're on the line somewhere. My brother went to a different school than I went to.
That's not true everywhere.
What do you mean?
In the South, they basically have to force the schools to be specific districts to counter segregation.
Well, I don't know. Virginia is like on the southish, so I don't know. Yeah, it's literally a form. Anyway, so my brother went to a different school. He actually tried out a couple different schools. I had friends go to other schools that were nearby. I'm pretty sure a public school will accommodate you. Maybe in Georgia or something. I don't know.
Not all of it. We're already doubling the amount of money we're spending on public schools. $21 billion in the latest 2-year budget. That's double what we were spending just 5 years ago. And Senator Hashmi doesn't think that the individual parent should have the opportunity to move their child to a better school. This plan of school choice will provide new opportunities and competition and will hold school systems accountable for good results for their students. Senator Hashmi, once again.
Yeah, I'm not into results-based schooling, frankly. Like from a test scores thing. I don't think that's what we need to strive for necessarily. I think you'll see the relative test scores show up if you just focus on teaching the kids the content and like with quality educators with enough time and resources. It'll just happen. They've tried so many, like Common Core, they've tried so many different things to like get the metrics. Like we all will take the same test everywhere, but you have to take account for different societal factors, different cultural things. The year after I started elementary, they finished a new school at my house, changed the district. My mom kept me in the school I started at. In Florida, it's called freedom of choice.
Is standing up for teachers' unions, not for the students. One thing you can count on from me at the Capitol is I will be looking out for families. I will be looking out for students, not for the teachers' unions.
On a related note, Governor Youngkin has opposed Democrat efforts to incorporate certain controversial texts and books into government grade schools as a matter of course. Democrat leaders have equated Governor Youngkin's stance to censorship. Governor Youngkin counters that he is protecting the ability of parents to consent to what their children read. What is your view regarding this matter? Senator Hashmi?
We oppose attempts to ban books from our schools. We've had superintendents who actually remove books from school libraries, which is why I wrote the bill to stop banning books. As Lieutenant Governor, I will oppose censorship, and I will advocate educational best practices for curricula.
No wonder she won 55% of the vote. No wonder, dude.
Mr. Reed?
Well, that's absurd. No one is talking about banning books. Everyone in modern America can order any book they want to. Protecting children.
You can order any book you want. So we can't have them publicly available? Like, it's just ridiculous.
Controversial topics that are not age appropriate. And
the government should not be banning books. The market is where books can be chosen not to be sold or not. Publicly, ridiculous.
Protecting young people from being exposed to pornographic material, which is exactly what is happening in some of our public schools. That is not censorship. That is protecting young people. And it is time for us to have leaders at the Capitol who are discerning enough to know the difference.
I agree. And it's not the Republicans.
You're not banning books. You were saying that age-appropriate material is what should be in libraries. And anyone who wants to order a book and have it delivered the next day to their home, that's certainly a possibility for them. So I wish we were in a place where we could be honest about what's happening here. This is a play to try to inflame tensions in the classroom, and there is no reason for that. Responsible people used to all agree we protect the innocence of young people as long as possible. And I will add,
I don't even know what the fuck that means. Innocence of young people as long as possible. I think by saying you have an innocence and it must be protected as long as possible is more pedophilic than just you teaching them sex ed or whatever, or letting them read books. That's crazy. That is a weird thing to say.
The teachers need to be focused on the basics of reading and writing and basic history and science and preparing young people to hit the age of 18 and graduate with all of those skills.
And only after the age of 18 can they understand anything about their bodies or sexuality is fucking nuts. That's crazy. And that's why you have a bunch of teenage fucking moms and dads. Ridiculous.
And be good citizens. This distraction about censorship, alleged censorship, when we're talking about actual pornographic material, is absurd, and it is counter to everything we should be doing to protect young people and families in Virginia. Once again, I have to stand.
It's not pornographic material. It's just about sexuality, I guess.
Stand up for families and let parents make these decisions instead of bureaucrats in the school system.
Follow-up question, broadly. Who should be in charge of children's education in Virginia? Parents or legislators? Senator Hashmi.
I'm concerned about parents who think that they can legislate what their children are reading in school. That's the job of legislators, people like I am, not the job of parents.
The government should be in charge of setting the standard for what the state offers to its students. Parents offer a different thing that is apart from the state, unless the parent is a teacher, I guess, or an administrator. That's a different thing. You put whatever you want in your house. I don't care. Yeah, she's
Mr. Reed,
just
your
great.
response?
Well, I know there are a lot of parents who would disagree with you, and they have made their voice heard time and time again.
Yeah, because the question is pernicious. Because it's just stupid. The question is false. It's not a is it legislators or parents' job to educate or whatever. It's both. The responsibility lies in both, and it's just like poisoning the well. I'm just going to go on to the next question.
What are your positions in regard to transgender access in government-run schools, to bathrooms, changing rooms, sports, etc., and transgenderism in general? Senator Hashmi.
We need to look out for and protect the rights of our transgender children.
Based?
They have a right to be addressed with pronouns of their own choosing.
Wow.
Boys identifying as girls have the right to compete on the playing fields where they feel that they belong. Trans kids have the right to use the restrooms and changing rooms where they feel most comfortable. Last but not least, trans minors have the right to get the surgeries that they need so as to feel as though they're in the right body. To oppose the trans rights of children is to deny them their personhood, deny them their identity.
True.
Mr. Reed.
Look, I'm the most open-minded person probably who's ever run for statewide office.
He's the most open-minded? I have only heard him say, no, you can't do that the whole time. Being the most open-minded, I would expect you to be like, well, here's how this would happen. But instead, I think maybe, I think maybe you're lying to yourself. Not Peter Coffin.
But I will tell you, when it comes to young people, this is confusion. It is gender dysphoria. These young people deserve counseling that will help them feel comfortable in their own body. And most of you are aware that I'm a historic candidate. I am the first gay person in either party to run statewide and to be...
Cool. So you're gay, so you think that trans people don't exist, and it's just they need counseling. They need to pray the gay away, but for transness, keep the T away. The T away with Christ. I just don't understand, brother.
On a ticket, Republican or Democrat, and I am telling you, after 30 years of having been around what I consider to be a very damaging, almost insane political agenda, this is not the direction that we should take.
I just don't even understand. He's telling me he's a big gay guy that just is so. Does that make him woke? I don't understand. Being gay is like nothing to us. We don't care. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're gay. I'm woke. I'm too woke. I'm beyond caring. You think being gay is points? It just means that some Republicans don't fucking like you, man.
Young people deserve to be protected. The fact that Senator Hashmi would stand up and say that she agrees with the idea of mutilating the bodies of perfectly healthy young people instead of...
Mutilating the body. It's always mutilation. It's always mutilation for them, dude. They can't think of anything else but chopping dicks off. Always genitals, yeah. It must be chopping dicks off. That's what they're doing.
Helping them work through...
Counterpoint circumcision. No, he's for it. He has very thin lips. He needs to get all the clearance he can get. So he prefers them. He prefers them snipped. Republicans, you come with thin lips, and if he's trying to suck a dick, he might not,
Through what many of us used to call teenage angst indicates that she has been completely bought into the most radical ideas in our society. Most parents do not agree with that. Now, once you turn 18, it's not my business what you do. Now, I don't need to be in your bedroom. I don't need to be associated with the decisions that you're going to make, even if they're important. But we have an obligation.
Uh-huh. But if you're a kid, I have to be in your bedroom? What's that fucking sound like? You know? If you're an adult, I don't need to be in your bedroom or anything. But if you're a kid, I'm all up in that business. How about privacy for children? I had tonsils as a kid. Must be mutilated, I guess. Yeah. You're mutilated. Anyone had surgery? I had a hernia surgery as a baby. I had a fucked up... I was born with clubbed feet, turned in feet, and so my ankles are all fucked up. Mutilated.
To protect young people from making dramatic decisions that a reasonable person would conclude they would regret in the next few years. And I will stand up for young people. I'll stand up for parents. And the idea that we're going to keep this secret from parents and
It's cold.
Fennec the rabbit. Thanks for following.
not involve them in these types of issues is very troubling to me. It's another thing that I think should be disqualifying for Senator Hashmi and, quite frankly, many people in her party.
In the wake of the Supreme Court's ruling in Dobbs v. Jackson, states have assumed jurisdiction over abortion access. Currently in Virginia, public policy largely permits abortion through the second trimester of a pregnancy. However, the state will not pay for a woman to have an abortion in almost all cases.
It's impressive that he doesn't move a muscle while he says all these things.
Would you, as Lieutenant Governor, be in favor of expanding or contracting legal access to abortion in Virginia?
Expanding.
I will never stop fighting for reproductive health care, including access to abortion and contraception. We have to ensure...
Dude, the AI is the most base thing. How is he losing a debate to the AI that he set up?
that women have access to the health care that they deserve. This is why I sponsored the Right to Contraception Act to protect women's freedoms.
Based.
Mr. Reed.
No one is attempting to restrict your right to contraception. The problem that Senator Hashmi has is she has been supportive of this absolutely outrageous constitutional amendment, which allows day of birth abortion.
Okay. Day of birth abortion is what happens when pregnancy goes bad at the end of it and they need to do an emergency abortion. Typically, a C-section is what this is. A C-section is a day of birth abortion. It doesn't pass through the canal. That is an aborted fetus that is being ripped from its womb unnaturally. Just because abortion doesn't mean death. Abortion doesn't necessarily mean it. Jake, you re-atheist pilled me after a brief flirtation with religion. Much love from Ireland. Well, that's good. Thanks, Thready C.
And I have traveled around the state, unlike my opponent. I have put almost 100,000 miles on my car talking to people who don't necessarily agree with me, unlike my opponent. And I have talked to many people who are pro-choice, who have said, yeah, the idea of murdering a baby on the day that it is to be born is a step too far.
When you say, should people murder their baby? Like that question, you're going to get a, no, people shouldn't murder their baby. They shouldn't mortar their baby either. Cask of Amontillado style. You should not do that to babies. They'll haunt you.
So we're not even having the conversation that we've had for 40 years about first and second trimester abortions. Virginians are voting about whether or not they think a child should be killed on the day of birth. And I think that crosses a line even for pro-choice women who believe that this is a civil right.
I'm so woke, I think only boys should be killed the day that they're born. I'm just kidding. I'm one of those. I would never say that. I think all children should be turned into vampires on the day of birth. Bite them on the necks. Mortar them all. Make baby bricks. And make a baby wall. We have too many babies. Get a nice strong border wall made with babies. Don't use the pestle on the babies. That's going to make them into a powder. Snortable. Great for stem cells. Make you nice and strong, powerful. You'll get a surge of power up your spinal cord if you snort the baby dust. Everyone knows it. This is what Hillary Clinton's been into. Jake has a modest proposal. Wasn't a modest proposal about... wasn't that a billionaire or something fucking a guy's wife? Are you thinking of Rosemary's Baby, or is a modest proposal about babies? What am I thinking of? Is a modest proposal about killing a baby? What? That's indecent proposal. You could understand. Indecent proposal, modest proposal. You understand how I got those mixed up. Chat, obviously, many film critics in chat.
The other thing that is very problematic is that Senator Hashmi and her party have created an amendment which will prevent parents from being engaged in that decision if a minor has to make the decision about an abortion. And, even if you're pro-choice, even if you don't agree with me on the life issue, even if you're a little left of center, I think most parents would want to have some consultation and judgment before their minor daughter makes that decision. And I'm going to stand up for parents again and for young people so that responsible decisions are made. And this amendment is the most extreme law, certainly in the United States and perhaps in the world. And the Democrats know exactly what they're doing. And this...
I don't think it's extreme enough, frankly. I also think we should really consider, and I think it would be prudent to consider, young boys or young men. I don't know what the age would be that's the safest. You'd have to ask the medical professionals. Young men to young boys, somewhere in there. We need to. What if we just got a little snip, a little vasectomy, and then when we wanted to be parents, we could opt back in. Doesn't really do anything. No negative effects. We couldn't get anybody preggers. That'd be good, right? It's not invasive at all. Why don't we just do that? What if we're just shooting blanks instead of live ammunition?
This is reckless and irresponsible, and it needs to stop.
Gun violence continues to make headlines throughout our country. The violence has even turned partisan of late, with multiple assassination attempts against President Trump and the killing of activist Charlie Kirk in just the last year.
Who?
How would you help combat gun and
Who?
political violence in Virginia if you become her next lieutenant governor? Senator Hashmi.
Tragically, mass shootings continue to increase, and gun violence is now the number one killer of our children, more than
Yep. Number one killer of our children.
accident or illness. I am committed to doing everything I can to stop the proliferation of guns and reduce the violence and number of deaths. I strongly support universal background checks, strengthened red flag laws, and banning assault.
This is such a fucking hilarious shot. He has been taking this so fucking dead seriously for half an hour of runtime, and this is what he's been looking at. Is this a PlayStation controller? What am I looking at here? What is this? Who's running this behind the fucking camera? And why is he so far apart? Why isn't she just like right here? What a massive fucking weird vibe. So funny that he lost. Do you think this had anything to do with it?
Weapons, which are weapons of war.
Mr. Reed.
Well, Senator Hashmi, with all due respect, the problem is not the law-abiding gun owners in this state. The problem is that there are Democrats like you who are in prosecutorial roles who refuse to actually prosecute violent crime. So individuals...
This is at 1.75 speed. Let's just hear... We have not heard him talk in normal speed. Just for a second. Let's see how it feels.
Who commit a crime, who demonstrate that they are violent, are released. I don't like to assign bad motives to people, but...
Yeah, it's pretty slow. It's not as slow as it could be. I think I'm going to even speed it up to 2 times. I think we could handle it. Let's put the gas on, chat.
Perhaps you think you're helping these individuals, but what you're doing is not giving them a second chance in their life. You're giving them a second chance to victimize additional people. In city after city after city, we see these results, and the results are terrible. It is time for us to punish individuals who commit crime, to punish them harshly, and to make sure that the message goes out to young people and to adults alike that we're not going to tolerate criminality. We're not going to tolerate violence. We're not going to tolerate murder in our society. This is not a gun problem. It is a people problem. And there
What? It's clearly a gun problem.
is a way to deal with it. We have proven over and over and over again that by being tough on those who commit crime, we will watch the
It's a system problem, not a people problem.
crime rates go down. We should also make an effort. Now, again, I would encourage you to go to the Read Revolution on Substack and look at the plans that I propose to deal with mental health care.
Go
mental
to
health care is a problem. We
Substack,
should spend some time
please.
thinking about why we have created a society that seems to create many, many troubled individuals. The strength of the family probably needs to be evaluated in every policy we're creating.
The strength of the family needs to be evaluated? What does that even fucking mean?
State level and the federal level. Are we putting together policies and proposing policies that strengthen the family, where there is someone who can monitor children, who can work with children and mentor them, identify problems before they turn...
She's literally running on free health care or free child care, like an expanded role for in more funding for education and all the places kids go so they can be more safe. Like the Republicans in the county out here voted against their white ass kids getting a better school just the other day. Meanwhile, the city continues to improve. The Republicans continue to do this MAGA shit. I don't know.
into major problems where you have criminality or violence or anything else that would be harmful to another citizen. I think I have the right approach. I think Senator Hashmi and her friends in the Democrat Party have consistently won their argument and pushed things through the legislature, which have put us in a much more dangerous situation in Virginia. It's time for that to stop.
On the subject of political violence, I would be remiss if I didn't address the unearthed text messages that Senator Hashmi's ticket mate, Jay Jones, wrote about former Virginia House of Delegates Speaker Todd Gilbert and his family. Jones insinuated that Speaker Gilbert was worse than Adolf Hitler and deserved to die.
We got some tea, huh? This is the best part. What the hell? Show me the text, bro.
Further, Jones indicated that he wished death upon Gilbert's children, whom Jones referred to as quote-unquote little fascists.
That guy won? Oh, that's so good. He called his kids little fascists.
Jones wrote, and I quote, "Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy."
Facts!
Senator Hashmi, what do you have to say about your ticket mate's remarks?
Jay will need to take accountability for the pain that his words have caused.
That's it? That's an amazing quote. He'll have to take accountability for the pain his words have caused. That's so funny. Yeah.
Should Jay Jones drop out of the Attorney General's race, Senator Hashmi? I guess that's Senator Hashmi's answer. Mr. Reed,
Dude, you can't just suddenly add like a sassy tone 32 minutes in that this guy has never had. That would have really spiced this up throughout.
I have to drop in for the comment because he didn't just say like that he's threatened to kill his opponent. He said, if you put me in an elevator with Hitler, Pol Pot, and my Republican opponent, I would put 2 bullets in the Republican guy.
Wow!
That was what he said.
Is that on camera? Can I see
It's
this?
a text message.
That's amazing.
It got leaked, and he won the race.
Hilarious. That's so funny.
Is Jay Jones unfit for office?
Yes, Jay Jones is unfit for office. That is now on display for everyone to see. And this is another moment where Ghazala Hashmi and her Democrat friends have refused to take the steps that a responsible person would take to say it's time for Jay to step
I'm just having so much fun. He sent violent texts in 2022. Virginia Democrat AG nomination once suggested the top Republicans should get bullets to the head. Holy shit. Oh my god. 3 people, 2 bullets. Wait. Virginia Democrat nominee for Attorney General faced bipartisan backlash Friday night. And when he said the Republican State House Representatives delegates get 2 bullets to the head, the message by Jay Jones, who did not hold elected office at the time, were directed by then House Speaker Todd Gilbert. 3 people, 2 bullets. The text for Jay Jones, first reported by National Review. Blah, blah. Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Spoiler, Jones history. Put Gilbert in a crew with 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. Jones did not deny the accuracy of the text Friday night, and he said he takes full responsibility for his actions. I want to issue my deepest apology to Speaker Gilbert and his family. Reading back those words made me sick to my stomach. I'm embarrassed, ashamed, and sorry. I've reached out to Speaker Gilbert to apologize directly with his wife, Jennifer, and their children. I can't take back what I said. I can only take accountability and a sincere apology. Coiner responded, Jay, please stop. Carrie Coiner said, please stop. That's funny. Dark woke. I'll smoke to that, dude. Keep. I forgot this guy's name. What was his name? John Reed. All right, keep talking real quick. I'm almost done. Might as well finish it.
step aside. This is not just a collection of words that are offensive. These are actual threats of political violence. We've seen assassination attempts. We have seen Charlie Kirk's assassination. We have seen members of our own House of Delegates, Republican members of the House of Delegates, threatened with death. I had that happen to me while I was having a press conference, live on the internet, a death threat against me. Now there is a consistent decision that I have to make about whether I wear a bulletproof vest in public. In Virginia, this is outrageous. The Democrat Party of Virginia, the Democrat Party across the United States.
He got a death threat online? Damn. That's crazy, man. First time.
States has a violence problem. And I will say, with all due respect, Senator Hashmi, you should have been one of the leaders to say that Jay Jones should step down, and you should be calling upon the people in your party to be peaceful. We're never going to agree on everything. I accept that, but we should not tolerate political violence with a wink and a nod and say that it doesn't matter when someone is revealed to have said something as horrible as what Jay Jones said.
Anyway, they won with 55% of the vote.
It's a reckless position that you're taking. To me, it's a disqualifier, not just for him, but for you as lieutenant governor. And I would say the same thing about anyone who's running for office. If you can't denounce this, then you have no moral compass at all, and Virginians should reject you.
I don't denounce the joke. I think that's funny. I think he was just kidding. I think he was making a joke about how much he didn't like the guy.
To be in a position of leadership.
Say that about the
In recent
president?
months,
Right.
with President Donald Trump's return to the White House, we've seen a crackdown on undocumented immigration.
A crackdown. So no violence on anybody, but a crackdown on immigration is a hilarious thing to bring up when he says we're opposed to violence. Also, to bookend that on the other side with, by the way, I don't care if kids are shot. Cool.
Here in Virginia, Governor Youngkin has offered his cooperation with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE, as it attempts to deport undocumented immigrants from the country.
You can't really see it very well, but it says fuck ICE if you squint. It says it.
Become Lieutenant Governor. Would you favor or oppose continued cooperation with ICE? Senator Hashmi.
Oppose.
That Governor Youngkin's decision to help ICE was absolutely reprehensible. Our sheriffs
Facts.
and local law enforcement shouldn't be assisting with the policing of international immigration.
Absolutely.
No, our sheriffs and local law enforcement should be protecting our citizens on issues of public safety.
Mr. Reed.
Well, that's what our sheriffs and our law enforcement are doing, is protecting citizens with public safety issues, because some of the people, not everyone who comes here illegally, find themselves committing crimes. And if they
More white people commit crimes.
have committed a crime, it is incumbent upon our law enforcement and our courts to assist in enforcing the law. Let me be clear, since no one else in the state of Virginia seems to be capable of saying it. We all have to obey the law. And that means you do, Senator Hashmi, I do, the people who are working in a factory have to obey the law.
Donald Trump?
The people who run businesses have to obey the law. This is a key discussion point that I think we need to get through as a people. You must obey the law. These are not new laws. These laws have been on the books for a long time, and we are now dealing with the consequences of not actually enforcing the law fairly. So you have millions of people who would like to come to the United States, who are going through the process correctly, who are paying attorneys, who are waiting in line.
And then getting abducted by ICE after they finish their court hearing? You know?
to become workers in America and hopefully American citizens. And then you have people who have jumped the line. And then you have people who are criminals from other countries who are here. It's time for us to clean up this situation and to be very strict about who is in the country. That, again, is not bigotry. That's called being responsible. That's called being a responsible leader. And I think Governor Youngkin has been absolutely correct in mandating that law enforcement actually enforce the law. And all of us will be in a better position, even those who are here as immigrants, if we actually enforce the law and get rid of the people who are committing crimes. It's very easy. It's not complicated. And it's offensive that Senator Hashmi continues to try to equate immigrants who came here legally with those who came here illegally.
Yeah, that is just not what ICE is doing. ICE is not delineating whatsoever. They just tear gassed a fucking toddler, a white kid. Like, literally. This is on NBC. Mommy, ouch, ouch, ouch. That was 2-year-old's reaction when she was hit with tear gas deployed by nearby immigration agents as she played in a Chicago park. This fucking family. Cute. Didn't deserve to get fucking tear gassed. Fucking losers. Fuck pigs.
A final topical question. Obviously, both of you want to be Virginia's next lieutenant governor. What is your impression of Virginia and the electorate here? Senator Hashmi.
I do suspect that most voters in Virginia, people who voted for Glenn Youngkin, are racist. Racism is so latent and so much a part of the society in Virginia.
True.
Accordingly, Virginians are susceptible to racist dog whistles, the likes of which we heard from the Youngkin campaign 4 years ago, for instance.
Yeah.
Wow. Mr. Reed?
Well, that's an outrageous and offensive comment to make. And anyone who looks at the people of Virginia and has that attitude about them should not be a leader of the people of Virginia. And I think it is time for someone to
I disagree. Virginia?
say something important about this issue, and I guess I'll be the one to do it. Simply disagreeing
Read a book,
on important
right?
issues does not make one a racist. And I, for one, am tired of leaders like Senator Hashmi constantly equating a disagreement into a racist motive for individuals like me. It is time for us to unite as a people, unite around good jobs and economic prosperity for all of our citizens, and it's very unfortunate that Senator Hashmi has actually articulated something that insults most of the voters of Virginia. Glenn Youngkin is a good person. Glenn Youngkin has done a good job.
Glenn Youngkin is not a good person.
As governor, I think he has attempted to treat people fairly, and it's outrageous that Senator
I can't
Hashmi,
believe he's
has articulated
losing.
a position like that.
Okay, time now for closing statements. Senator Hashmi.
Really, I don't
Great.
have much more to say. Based on the policy positions that I've advocated here, as well as my experience serving in the Virginia Senate, I believe that I am the best person to help lead the Commonwealth of Virginia as we move forward.
Mr. Reed.
Wow.
Well, let me say, it's pretty shocking that this artificial intelligence debate is the opportunity for most Virginians to hear anything about the woman who is seeking to be lieutenant governor on the Democrat ticket. That
Pretty shocking. Okay, so you lost.
is shameful. It should be disqualifying Senator Hashmi and her attempts to hide from the media and from the public and from her Republican opponent, and actually daring to say that I'm not a legitimate candidate is extremely offensive. I'm glad we had the opportunity to expose the irrational positions that Senator Hashmi has espoused, and I'm glad that I get to share my experience as a person with a degree in political science, as someone who's worked for a former president of the United States, as someone who has run communications at the highest levels of government of the United States Senate, who has worked with businesses all across the country and around the world with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, who has lived in other nations. I've been to 113 countries around the world. I'm probably the most open-minded and well-traveled person who's ever run for office in Virginia. And
He's just said that multiple times.
I think that will
I'm really open-minded, guys.
bring me experience as a broadcaster, as an international businessman, as a compassionate individual who has a very unique story to tell in the role of lieutenant governor. And I will end with what I share as I travel across the state. We're not going to agree on everything.
I'm telling you, this is why I think I hear Peter Coffin in there. Keep saying open-minded.
It's completely okay. Unlike most politicians, I'm not here to make you bow down to me. I'm not here to make you obey the positions that I take. I'm here to offer solutions economically and culturally that I think will put us in a better position as we compete with other states. And I will look at every issue that comes before the state Senate if I'm entrusted with the role of lieutenant governor, if I have to break tie votes about whether it expands the freedom of our individual citizens and whether it makes us more competitive in a very competitive business climate in the United States for Virginia to be successful. I will be reasonable. I will be responsible. I will be respectful of people, even if I disagree with them and they disagree with me. And most importantly, I will endeavor to make every decision by being fair to everyone in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And that's why I'm asking for your vote to be the next lieutenant governor, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight.
Great. Oh, is the last shot this fucking thing?
This concludes tonight's virtual debate. I'd like to thank the candidates for being here. Mr. Reed.
Or,
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I
being
appreciate the opportunity.
He appreciates the opportunity. Smash cut.
The voice of Virginia, John Reed.
I can't listen to that. I can't listen to
For
that.
being here where it all
Born in the USA, by the way. Hilarious. He doesn't understand this. He has ideologies that are literally opposed to the song Born in the USA. Literally just doesn't get it to the very last fucking breath, out of touch.
Good evening, Virginia, to everybody who is watching. This is clearly not the outcome that I had hoped for, that we had hoped for, but it's one that I accept with gratitude, humility, and a deep sense of pride.
Concession speech. Wah, wah, wah. All right. So that's how that ended. So as you can see, I don't think debating the fucking AI worked. I think it was a fail. Hilarious, though. Very, very stupid. The guy couldn't set up a debate with his opponent that he controlled the entirety of and win. He still lost. Objectively. That's crazy. Only Republicans, man. They're a special breed of people. They're a fascinating organism.